Welcome to C Programming Tutorials. This is a production of YouTube channel Learnorama and the Facebook page Awesome C Programming Tutorials in High Def. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would recommend that you do so, or I would also recommend that you become a fan of the page, Facebook page as well. Today's tutorial, we are going to learn about how to write to files. In the previous tutorials, we have learned how to open and close files. So these are basically, all the tutorials for now are kind of series dealing with how to manipulate, create, manage files, basically. So let's get started. So in our previous tutorials, we learned that whenever we have to deal with files, we have to create a pointer to file, like this one here. File is a standard, type. It's basically a file descriptor, and you have to create a pointer to it, and you can name it whatever you want. We call it pfile here, and then what you do is you open the file, right? Using this function fopen. Fopen function takes the name of the file and then the mode of the file. Here the name I have specified is abc.txt. You can specify whatever you want, and mode is actually the a small string, just one character or two characters or maybe three characters, which will specify what mode you want the file to open. So depending upon what your needs are, if you want to read from the file only, then you open it as you put the R in the mode. If you want to write to it, you put W. If you want to append to it, you put A. If you want to read and write both, then you write R plus. If you want to read and write both, you can write W plus. The difference between the two is that this one is going to recreate a new file, and then A plus is basically you read and append to the file. Anyway, so we covered all these modes in the previous lectures, so just a revision there. And then if the fopen function call was successful in opening this file, which by the way, since it does not specify the full path, you can specify the full path here, but since here we are not specifying the full path, wherever this program is running from, that's where it's going to create that file. If you specify the full path like c:\\, it will basically go and create the file right over there, wherever you specified. Otherwise it will create the same place where the program is running from. And once the fopen is able to open this file in this mode successfully, it returns a pointer to that file descriptor, and we capture it into this variable, the pointer variable that we declared there, pfile. And in all the subsequent calls, we are going to use pfile as our handler, or to reference to this file. The file name is only used at the time when you are creating the file. After that, we just keep on using that pointer to descriptor. So we want to keep this around. So one way to check if it was successful or not, because when fopen is unsuccessful, it returns a null pointer. So one way to check if it was successful or not is to check to see if pfile is null or not. If it is not null, which means if it's not 0, then it means that it was successfully able to open the file. So any code that we want to do to manipulate that file, we have to write here. And then when you are done manipulating that file, we have to do is to close the file using fclose function, and all we have to do is to pass that pointer so that it can close that function, close that file. Subsequently, we cannot use this pointer without opening the file again. If you use it, then the results are undeterministic. And similarly, if the file pointer was null, we will basically come here, because that's the else case of this condition. If file pointer is not equal to null, we basically come here and we print this message saying that we were not able to open the file. Now in today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to write to a file. Okay, and obviously we cannot write to a file until we are able to open the file first. So we have to make sure that we have successfully opened the file. So this is where we are going to be able to write to a file. And in order to write to a file, it's very simple. To a text file, it's very simple. What you have to do is to use something very familiar that we have been using to output, to write to a screen. Okay, so we have been using printf to write to the screen, and the syntax of printf is you write a string after that, and inside this string you could specify the format specifiers also, like %d or %c, and if you do so, then you have to basically follow it with the values or the variable names corresponding to those specifiers. In this string we don't have anything else, so we just write the string. This is the information age. Okay, but this statement is going to print on the screen. It's not going to print on the file. Okay, it's very simple to print on the file. We just use a similar function called fprintf. Okay, and fprintf obviously needs to specify which file you want to write to. Printf did not need any file name because there is only one screen, so there is no other place to write to except for that screen. But fprintf, since you can have multiple files open at the same time, you have to specify which file you want to write to. And how do we specify which file? Of course, again, we have to use the file pointer. So we use the file pointer and we use the string. And if the string has any format specifiers, we put commas, and then we specify all the variable names corresponding to those specifiers. But since in this string we have no format specifier, all this string is going to do is to write this message to that file. And what file? This file. And that's why we opened it in W mode or write mode, which basically says that you can write to a file, and if the file does not exist, it will be created, and if it exists, it will be deleted. So you will lose your data if you will open it in this mode. So you have to make sure that this is what you really want. You don't want to append or write at the end of the file. If you want to write at the end of the file, you always use a. Okay, so let's see. So let's write W for now, and then we will just start the compile the program, use F9, and look at what happened here. Okay, I see a blank screen. Why do I see a blank screen? Because I never printed anything on the screen. Because I use fprintf. Fprintf is not going to print on the screen. If I had used printf, it would have printed on the screen. So we are not seeing anything on the screen. Okay, so but let's see here. This is my command prompt, and if I go to that location where this program exists, which is the main.cpp file, right here you can see this is where I have saved this program, c:\dev cpp/project2, and this is where it should have created. As you can see, there is no such file as abc.txt here, and if I do a directory, I see this abc.txt right here. Okay, and this was created by this program after executing this program. And if you want to look at the contents of this file, if we look at the contents of this file, we should see this is the information age written there, right? So let's look at the contents. How do you look at the contents on Windows system or DOS kind of system? Is type and then followed by the name of the file. Okay, and there we go. We see that this file has this written. This is the information age, which we just wrote. Now what's going to happen if I run this program one more time? See, nothing happened on the screen, but let's look at what happened here. Nothing. It's the contents of the file are still the same. So what happened to this program execution? I just ran this program one more time, but nothing happened. Well, actually something happened. And what that something was, when we opened that file, we opened it in W mode, which is the write mode, which basically says that if the file exists, it will be deleted. So this file which exists before, it was deleted, and then we wrote this thing again, so it was recreated, and we wrote this is the information age. So it looks like nothing happened because the contents are the same, but actually the file was deleted, recreated, and we wrote this is the information age one more time. So if I change this, this is the computer age, and if I run this program one more time, what's going to happen? Now let's look at the contents one more time. See, the contents changed. Why? Because this old file was deleted when we opened this file, and we wrote this is the computer age on this new file, which happens to have the same name, and this is what we see here. So we will continue with this fprintf in the next video. Thank you so much.